Okay, welcome back to Everything Everywhere All at Once. How to create certainty and meaning and all the chaos and mayhem that's going around us, which is happening for me right now. But anyway, so this is all about, creating radical abundance, living life on our terms. And in order to do that, we've got to make a quantum leap. And we've got to start to use the principles of quantum mechanics, quantum theory, quantum physics in our lives and really make changes at a quantum level in order to make that quantum leap. And the old ways of doing things and the old rules no longer apply. We have to, if we're going to make this quantum leap, we have to be able to respond to what's going on in our world so much more rapidly than thought will allow us. So we've got to transcend using our brains, which were always meant to be used as the servant of our heart and intuition. And we've reversed that process, and as we'll get into in a future edition, the Alaskans can prove that we're living life backwards, and I will get into that, and it's absolutely true. But anyway, focused on this right now, we said that there are 4 primary principles in the creation of wealth. And of course, we're talking about quantum wealth, not necessarily having, billions and billions of dollars, but having the freedom to live life on our terms. We do need money because money's energy, but we also need to make sure that we make time our priority. So the old phrase, for example, like time is money is not true. You can replace money, you can't replace time. And money is a form of energy that can be exchanged and invested to generate power. And that gives us a stronger voice in the world, and time allows us to become wealthy. When we prioritize our time over money, it becomes our freedom. All right, so a little bit of recap there. So rather than be what they want us to think is counterintuitive, we want to be counterconformative. We can't conform to these old ideas, these old rules. These old rules no longer apply. These old belief systems that are just going to fall apart. And the sooner we can adapt the principles of quantum mechanics, which are forces of nature, then we are going to be able to live a radical abundance like never before. But not until. So we talked in the last episode about the first principle, the primary principle in the creation of this quantum wealth, which was leverage, right? And that's a force of nature. All these are forces of nature. Leverage is probably one of the most powerful. The second force of nature, which we're getting to now, is math, right? So math. So you go, Stephen, math is a force of nature? Yes, absolutely, because think about it. Everything in this entire universe, it all comes down to numbers, which is the title of this episode, right? Everything comes down to numbers. Where your nose is on your face, the golden ratio, the golden mean. Everything is sacred geometry. The platonic solids, vibration creates form in the form of sacred geometry, which then becomes physical form that we see. But behind it all is math. So the Fibonacci series of numbers, we talked about the golden mean, the golden ratio. We also got the Fibonacci series of numbers that determines the branching patterns of trees and many other things in nature. So math, yes, is part of nature. Flowers, everything, it all comes down to math. And in our world, architecture is nature. Banking is nature. We know the torus is math, the spiral, right, from which everything comes, 0.618, so on and so on. Anyway, so these things combined, the math is what is creation, right? So obviously it's also used in the world of finance, right? You see these rather elderly gentlemen focused on looking at ledgers, numbers, and that's how they run the banking system, which has traditionally been run by men. As you see here, there don't seem to be a lot of women hanging around. But that's going to change because technology is going to democratize, decentralize, and demonetize the world, including the financial system. So women could say, and justifiably that in the past, it's been like a boys' club, right? Primarily run by men. And there have been institutions that have been difficult for women to penetrate. Anyway, so now all that's gone away because we can use technology to do what these huge institutions once had the power to do. And we won't even need a banking system anymore, right? So women are going to be so much more powerful in the world, in every area of the world. The roadblocks that have prevented women from doing that in the past have gone, but also for men too. You know, it's been a closed shop for a lot of men too. So it's now going to be democratized, and math is going to help with that, and technology is going to do the math. So it makes it easier and not quite as boring as it would be in the past, right? So everything through technology is going to be democratized, decentralized, demonetized, and not demonized, right? So everything everywhere is going to be happening all at once. We know that, right? We're seeing that in our lives, and it can be overwhelming. So what we need to do is focus on what are the right things for us to be doing in a given moment, right? And we need to learn how to focus again, because a lot of this technology is causing us to be scattered. Easy to do, right? With TikTok and Instagram and all these other things. So we also have to make sure we're conditioning our minds to be able to be focused in certain areas at certain times, so that we can create this radical abundance, live life on our terms and the way that we want. So 2 principles we've covered so far: leverage and math. We're going to get into the third principle next, which is systems. How do we systemize all this? Well, you might be able to take a guess. All right, so let's take a look at how you can start to use technology as a way to mathematically calculate what it is you might want to do. Give that some thought. In the meantime, sapere ord. Dare to be wise.